Yeah, we live and direct. Today we're talking about the heart. It's all about the heart. Is there a song about the heart? There's tons of songs about
No,
hearts.
I've never heard a song about the heart. I
Never
think
heard a
we
song about the
might do
heart.
one, be the first.
That's right. Someone should do that. Some artist out there should write a love song about the heart, about a broken heart.
Yeah, it's a
So
good idea, man.
yeah, man. So today we're talking all about heart walls, and we're going to get into exactly what a heart wall is, and most importantly, why it's blocking you from real connection, real intimacy, both in your, your S3X relationships and your romantic relationships, but also in every relationship, your friends, community, the world itself. The more that our heart is open, then we have love, connection, all of these great feelings and emotions flood into our being, and we become a positive, loving being. Which is it's funny because we live in a world where we think masculinity is like, yeah, man, I gotta be like this tough guy and stuff. Which definitely that's part of it. You shouldn't be a pussy, but at the same time, there's a real softness. I love when the Dalai Lama said, and I adopted this: strong mind, soft heart, to cultivate that type of being where you have a strong mind. You can be tough. You're not a pushover. You can lead, you can create, you can produce, protect, provide, all these things, but a soft heart. And
No, actually, people don't realize that a strong quality of masculinity is to be sensitive. Because as you say, we usually just think masculine is, but actually too much of that can be feminine. Because if you're not sensitive, then like the woman has to adapt to you all the time. Like the important qualities of masculinity is to be sense controlled, like we practice in the army. So therefore, you don't try and exploit a woman, and she won't exploit you because you're sense controlled and sensitive. You have to be able to be sensitive to the feminine. That makes you masculine. If you're not, haven't got a soft heart, then it's not actually a masculine quality.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So we're going to dive deeper into it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us live. Let's play our little track, our opening, and we'll dive into it.
Yeah.
Soldiers retain real strong men and self-control. Their info is plain. If you don't know, feel that energy flow right into your brain. Your whole game will change. Soldiers retain. Soldiers retain. Soldiers retain real strong men and self-control. Their info is plain. If you don't know, feel that energy flow right into your brain. Your whole game will change. Soldiers retain. Soldiers retain.
Yeah, semen retention soldiers, welcome to your live training happening every single Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you subscribe, you hit the bell so you get notified. Not only do we go live on this channel every single Thursday for you, bringing you discussions and trainings and techniques out of the S3X Alchemy playbook that you can use right away in your life to improve yourself, to improve your life and relationships, and ultimately become a powerhouse both in and outside the bedroom. But also, we've got tons of videos. We got 2 new videos been coming out every single week on this channel. The channel's really picking up a lot of momentum, and I'm really appreciate that. So make sure you guys help it out. We're on our run to 10,000 subscribers. I think we're at right now, 7,300, something like that, right? Kicking around there. Help us get to that 10,000 mark, and then we can go beyond from there. So really appreciate you guys. All right, we're talking about heart walls. So the first question might be, what exactly is a heart wall, and then how do they form? So a heart wall is just, call them blocks around the heart, blocks around, energetic blocks, being able to stop you from expressing love, intimacy, and also receiving love and intimacy. Because if you can't give it, you can't receive it. All right, that's something we should know. And a lot of us men, sometimes we're like, I remember I was having a conversation with a buddy, and he was just saying yeah, I really want my woman needs to show me she's committed. She's got to get submissive, committed. Right? And I'm like, yeah, did you put a ring on it? Right? Did you? Are you? Oh no, I haven't done that yet. Yeah, are you fully committed yourself? Nah, you're still hesitating. And actually, the feminine follows the masculine. That's just nature, you know. That's not like, you know, I know I can hear all my woke people. I'll be like, oh my gosh, you know, no way, I'm feminine. I'm an independent woman, right? And it's not that. It's not on a bodily level that I'm talking about. This is an energetic principle where, for instance, we can look at the conscious mind as masculine and the feminine mind, or the subconscious mind, as feminine, meaning the subconscious follows or creates whatever the masculine, the conscious mind feeds it. How that reflects out into the material atmosphere or world is in man-woman relationships. Men are leading, and if you think that men aren't leading, it's just not true. And you know, I don't care what the woke community or anybody has to say about it, because not only have I done enough research about it, I've experienced it myself. And here's the other thing about this. So sometimes people will be like, well, the woman is actually leading, and like, you know, okay, one of the things that annoys me the most is when I hear men say this: well, she wears the pants in the relationship, right? Like saying she's the man, right? Like she's the decision maker, the leader. Oh, I gotta, you know, she wears the pants. First of all, my guess is she doesn't want to be wearing the pants. If she's wearing the pants, it's because you're not. So she has no choice but to then wear the pants. So she's got to now lead. And that's why she's actually resentful of you, right? She's resenting you because you're not doing your masculine duty. And so
I'd go even further to say that some women, they've been so traumatized by this, by men not being masculine, by them not being protected, that they adapt masculine qualities, and now they find it hard to allow someone to protect them. So they may actually forcibly wear the trousers, but it's not like they chose that in the beginning. But by now they're protecting themselves so hard that you better believe they're wearing the trousers, and it's very hard for both people.
Yeah. That's a great point. It's actually a really great point. I'm working on a program for specifically for men in relationships, married men or long-term relationships, who want to, you know, respark that passion, that S3X tension that might have been lost, which happens in long-term relationships. And one of the first things I say is that one of the reasons, this is so much more than you just getting laid. Like this, what we talk about is, on the surface, it sounds like it's just about, you know, how to get more S3X. And that's a small piece of it. It's really about restoring the family core, and also restoring women's trust in us. Because, I mean, we have so many hurt women. We have so many women who are choosing, you know, these radical left, these radical woke ideologies because they're hurt. And if we could just step up as men and show them that we are actually great providers, protectors, producers, we can step into a healthy masculinity, which again is a strong mind but soft heart, where we have empathy and emotion and we can connect in many ways. Then you won't see that these radical sort of ideologies, I don't need men and all this type of stuff. And then to me, the most feminine movement of all is actually the men going their own way. You know, men like, I don't need women, you know, but they're just acting exactly the opposite, exactly the same as like the women, right? In that sense, right? So, anyways, it's a deep subject, and the point is this: that all of this is being created at an energetic level because we are brokenhearted. And it's as simple as that. You know, I was having a conversation with a friend over the weekend, and I was just saying, you know, a lot of people just need a good hug, you know, like a good minute to 2 minute hug, you know, nothing sexual about it. Just, I love you, hug, which, you know, releases oxytocin into the system, which is like the cuddle hormone or the love hormone. It makes us feel connected. It makes us feel bonded. And so many people are just missing that. And so heart walls are formed when we are, first of all, we get hurt, you know, like maybe our first love, we fell in love, you know, in high school or college or whenever, it doesn't matter when it happened. You fell in love, and then either she messed up or you messed up or someone messed up, and then your heart was broken. And then you became a bit cold, a bit like, oh, I can't love again. I'm going to start to protect myself. Because when we get hurt, whether physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, we start to block ourselves. We don't want to get hurt again, and that becomes, you know, a bit of a heart wall.
And if you open up to someone and then they hurt you or leave you or abandon you, it can be very painful. And I think it also stems from, as we were mentioning earlier, this nowadays we're not taught how to commit, you know, which is a masculine thing, to decide and to commit. So like, for example, for me, when I was younger, I had some nice girlfriends, you know, when I was much younger, very, very nice. And there was no reason to leave them other than I'm too young to commit. And I just left this nice girl, you know, because I just didn't want to commit, and hurt her probably because she you know, was committed to me. And the only reason was, oh, because I mean, I'm 24, why would I commit, or whatever, or I'm 19 or whatever, you know. But only now at this age I'm starting to think, oh, commitment is good, you know. but we just end up hurting each other so much because we want to enjoy everything, all the options, and we don't want to commit.
Yeah, we've been lied to. Yeah, we've been lied to essentially by, like, you know, I was saying, like, growing up, I was actually saying this to my guru over the weekend. I said, growing up, we grow up in a culture that promotes to men that what is actually freedom, what is good is, you know, stay single, like, you know, like play the field, like, you know, just have as much S3X as you want. Don't get into a relationship. That's actually like in hip hop culture too, which I grew up in. You know, that's like kind of like, it's a sign of weakness, right? You know, 50 Cent disses Nas by saying, you know, he pretty much got married to Khalees. He was sucker for love, right? Yeah, that's
like he tattooed her on the arm as well.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Right. So that's, he's a sucker for love, right? So there's that messaging in the material culture in this modern world that, like, oh, you're kind of like, it's a sign of weakness to be in love, when actually love is the true power. Like, you know, I've been singing "All You Need Is Love" lately, you know, just try to like get that kind of like message. It's like, you know, all you need is love. And that's like, I see that now as like not just an ideology, but it's actually like real. Like when you're loving, I was watching this show about the universe. They were asking all this like kind of, you know, mathematicians and very, very, you know, educated people and modern philosophers and these type of people. And they were saying, what is infinite? What is infinity? And so the whole documentary is like, it's like an hour long, them trying to explain infinity, right? Like, and, you know, through math, through philosophy, mental speculation, through all these kind of ways they're trying to what is infinity. And this one mathematician guy, and, you know, he said, as he contemplated infinity and recognized that the universe and it's infinity, and I am finite, I'm a little speck, I mean nothing, my life has no meaning. He kind of fell into this nihilism, this like almost depression, as he was contemplating infinity, right? You know, he's like, nothing that I really do matters and stuff. He said, and then he smiled, and you could see just his whole energy almost gets emotional. You know, he says, that is until I fell in love. And then it all meant something. Then it all had meaning. It didn't matter. Nothing else mattered in a way, right? He's like, but then I fell in love. And so heart walls, what's happened in our society is that we've moved so far away from love being so important. Now everything else is important. What iPhone you have is important. What clothes you're wearing is important. Or, you know, we were kind of making fun of in religious communities, you know, are you using the right ghee is important, you know, but the love, which is actually the central point of every religion, bhakti, you know, selfless love, or in the Christian community it's called agape, selfless love. They're the same, they're pointing to the same thing, that love and getting to what is real love. And you know, there's in the Bible it talks about, I think can't remember which book, but it's like love is patient, love is kind, love knows no revenge. Love, it gives this nice description of what love is. And it's like getting to that is the essence of human life. That is the essence of what we're here for. That is the essence of all religions and all spiritual practices. It all culminates in love, and love of God, which spills into love of everybody and everything. And that's what we're missing. So we have so many identities of, wokeism and political ideologies and all these things going on, and people think that's it's important, but we can see that the more that we do those things, it's like we create more and more problems instead of actually getting to the essence, which is love. So definitely heartbreaks is one way, but also like it doesn't have to be in a romantic way. We build heart walls. Like, let's say someone passes away, someone dies that we love, and then we get hurt and we think, oh, I don't want to like feel that again. Maybe a friend, you had a best friend, and then best friend, I mean, who goes through that in high school, right? Girls know that. You have a best friend, and next thing you know, she's sleeping with your man or something like that, right? Or like, right? Or, that type of stuff. Or, you had a friend you trust, and then all of a sudden they found that they're gossiping behind your back. And so many ways, that we show love, and then that love becomes broken. And, that's often because we're looking for love actually in the wrong place. But the point is that once we get heartbroken by somebody else, then we build heart walls, and often at a subconscious level. And the other place
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're simply not taught how to deal with emotions, most of us, as we grow up. So these things happen to us, and especially the younger you are, as a child, like there's no analytical part of the brain yet. So the experience just goes straight in, and it just as an emotion. So you might form a belief around that when you were too young to even understand what was happening. So it's said that many of us are living off the beliefs of 2 or 3-year-olds, like a core belief, like something could happen when you were 2 or 3, parent left or a parent said something, and it went in and you made it mean something about you. And it's completely untrue. You just misunderstood because you're only 2 or 3, and you couldn't filter it. But because we're not taught how to deal with emotions, that just stays with us. All these experiences happen. Then you go to school and it's brutal, and this happens and that happens. And no wonder you get to be like 20 or 30 and you're just like, don't love me. I'm scared. We're not taught how to deal with anything.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. And unfortunately, many people, even our parents, and grandparents and such, and let's say the adults of the world, which we now are, but it's like when we were growing up, they also didn't know. So it's not to blame or to anything like that. It's just to be like, this is what's going on at a mass level. And the other place, so we build, when we get hurt, we built these heart walls, and we start to protect our heart, and they're literally around our heart center, because that's where it's like the center of the soul. The soul is like, it's so unnatural for the soul not to be in loving service that it's kind of like, whoa, what is this? This place is kind of weird, right? There's no love here. And so it becomes a little bit of like of a hellish existence. So what we want to do, and we're going to share with you right now, is some techniques. I'm going to share with you on an energetic level a couple techniques that you can use to start remove these heart walls, so you can open yourself up. And then Jake will show us a technique from tapping, and then we'll give you another opportunity as well to remove. So you're going to leave here with a ton of good stuff to be able to remove those heart walls. And Ezrael has a nice comment. We'll get to it at the end, talking about the left brain, the positive and negative, masculine, feminine. But yes, absolutely, the way you're essentially describing it is right on point. So, okay, so the first one in the 6 healing sounds, which is the first technique that I teach men inside of the sexual alchemy training, is to start to work with the heart. And by the way, a lot of porn addiction and addictions and all of this type of stuff is actually coming from heart blocks. And so our energy isn't able to travel upwards and really connect with our heart. So therefore it stays in our animalistic centers. And that's a lot of our vices are actually heart problems or connection issues, and the device itself is not really a problem, but it's more of a symptom of a deeper problem coming from an experience of intimacy and love. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a deep breath in, and you can use your hands to imagine like you're scooping up positive energy, positive light, and you can use the color red as a visualization. So you're going to breathe up into your heart space, And you can imagine your whole heart space being filled up with this red light, this red vapor. Then you're going to switch your hands and you're going to lean to your right. So you're like giving your heart a massage, and you're going to blow out like smoke was blowing out of your mouth, red vapor, and using the sound ha, like you're checking your breath. So we'll do it one more time just to show you, and then, bring it up. Take a deep breath in, and you can imagine red light, red vapors all filling up the heart space. Flip your hands over, lean to the right, giving your heart a nice massage, and then releasing. So in our heart, that's where we carry our anger, our hatred, our cruelty. I was involved with politics for the last few years. I'm no longer involved. And I just felt so much hatred on all sides. I don't care, left wing, right wing. There was so much anger there. It's one of the reasons I left, was because I was like, I want to be angry no more. This is not the way to do anything. If it's coming from a space of anger, it ain't going to work. I don't care what your political stances are. It's not going to work, because it's just going to create more of the same. So we have to, so that anger, that hatred, that unforgiveness that we carry, that's where we got to get into it. And when our heart is open, we feel love, we feel connection, we want to serve, we want to help, and actually a very open heart. Just if someone walks into the room and they have a very open heart, you'll feel their presence, and their energy alone can shift an entire situation. So let's do one more clearing of the heart. We're going to breathe in red light, red vapors into the heart. And then we're going to make the intention as we release with the sound ha, that all hatred, all anger, all unforgiveness, traumas, guilt, shames are released from our heart. And now we're going to move right into technique number 2. I want you to take your hands, and I want to place it right in that heart space. And what I want you to do, this is called inner smiling. And through our sexual alchemy program, I lead you through guided meditations to really help you get into this. But it's short. Just go inward, bring all your awareness into your heart space. And that's why you're putting your hands there, to help you connect with your heart. And then internally, smile to your heart. And of course, you could put a smile on your face, Everyone's so serious these days, right? Just smile. Think about when you're like walking down the street, or you're at the grocery store, or you're at the gym, or, wherever you're doing it. Next time you're at a rally, an event, or some gathering, just smile more, and watch what happens to the people around you. Smiles are infectious. Well, that's true for outward smiling. If you can smile, you could be in a whole different country. You don't know the language. And just by smiling at someone, there's an instant connection. Guys often say, how do I approach women? I was like, well, first of all, don't look so angry. That'd be the first, because now you just look scary. I said, how about smiling? Why don't we start with that? And so now the same concept is applied inwardly. You're internally smiling, like sending positive vibe to your own heart. And if you do this, if you actually just sit there in meditation and just smile to your heart for 5-10 minutes. I mean, I've done this where, I've literally been so like overwhelmed with positive emotion that, tears start coming from my eyes, because I could just feel this internal love. And it's amazing how we can just begin to love ourselves and accept ourselves so deeply, even with all our faults and past mistakes and all the bullshit we've been through and that we've done and had done to us. Fine, whatever. Just accept it all and just feel into your heart and have that loving connection. All right. How do you feel, bro?
Yeah, that was really nice. I love those guided meditations you have in the program. And the more you do them, you can do it. The first few times, it's like, because we're not used to it, we have walls from ourselves as well. It's like, what do you mean? You know, you can't get comfortable. These things come up. You can't send love. Many people, when you say the words love and accept myself, they're like, I can't say it, you know, or they say it and it brings up so much. If we keep saying it, we keep giving those inner smiles, eventually we actually feel it.
Yeah,
it's very nice.
And that's why like inside of our program and training and our students, the guys that we work with, it's a practice. It's something that we do daily, you know, at least 3, 4, 5 times a week. Why? Because it takes practice. It doesn't necessarily, you know, it doesn't necessarily change overnight, but it can change very quickly when you're consistent and you have real intention, when you desire to open up again and to really feel love. And again, it goes back to that, all you need is love. Like really, like when you have love in your life, it's amazing how many other things you see it as such bullshit or such like pettiness, right? Like people argue over the pettiest things. There's conflict over the pettiest things. It's like, you know, you talk about relationships. It's like nobody can, like everyone's offended so easily these days. It's because there's no love in your heart. And so it's everything that's small becomes big. Like some of the drama and gossip that go on, once you have a loving heart, you recognize how petty and ridiculous it is. When you're in it, you think it's the big deal. You think it's such a big deal. You think it's the world, but it's really not compared to love, compared to infinity, right? And it's to expand our consciousness to this space of love so that we easily can cross over kind of these petty little things that we make such big deals about when they're really not big deals at all. And so Jake, you have a technique for us as well through the tapping process to help us with our heart walls.
Yeah, so I'm an EFT practitioner. I'm not going to explain it all because every week we're doing a bit of tapping now. So if you want to know about EFT, go and check it out. It stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques, and it's tapping on acupressure points, certain pressure points on the body, which stimulate the body's energy system. And it's interesting, we're talking about love and walls here, because in EFT, one of the things we do while tapping, many practitioners, we tap and we say, I love and accept myself. And as I said, many people in the beginning, they find that uncomfortable, or they say, even myself, I was saying it and it wasn't even going in. I was like, what does this mean? Love and accept, you know, it's hard to do, you know, but after a while you clear out those things. So don't run away when those little fears come up, you know, because what's happening is the subconscious is becoming conscious. So all these things will come up. So keep going and eventually they'll clear out. So a point to tap on for the heart is actually on the middle finger, the inside of the middle finger at the top. So if you put your hand out like that, this point of the middle finger, yeah, and you can even or squeeze it with your thumb. You can even do this when no one will even know what you're doing. You can do it in public like that. This is touching on the heart point. And then the little finger also, just again the inside top part of the little finger, this is connected to the heart. We have many points in EFT though that we have a routine where we tap on them all together, and they feel really good. No, it doesn't. I saw a comment from Israel. It doesn't matter which hand, you can do both hands because the energy channels, they run parallel. So if you stimulate one side, it stimulates them all. And yeah, that's the hard point. But if you want to know more about EFT, then look it up, or I don't know, contact me. I can show you more or do a session, because there's so many points that cover so many things. And it's funny you said earlier, Nakula, that energy a lot of the time is held in the heart, because in EFT we track where the energy is in between every tapping round. We say, okay, where is that energy in your body now? And out of 10, you know, how much does it feel? So we track the energy moving and leaving. And so many times as we get through an issue, the energy goes to the heart, maybe somewhere else first, or they can't feel it. But when we actually start peeling off the layers, suddenly it's like, it's in the heart, you know, and then we tap on that, and then they're like, it's gone from the heart and the issue is gone. You know, we're holding so much in our energy systems, in our bodies, and yeah, and in our heart space in particular.
And you know, modern scientists have learned that the heart has more neurons than the brain, meaning there's more activity happening in the heart, and there's more signals traveling from the heart to the brain than the brain to the heart, meaning the heart is the center of communication. You know, it's actually like just firing up, right?
Yeah.
And then your brain is then interpreting those things, right? And so it's and same with in sexual alchemy, we connect our testicles, our sexual centers, right? Our sexual, our lower centers to the heart, because one of the things that's missing in the bedroom is love, right? And that's why a lot of people actually feel dissatisfied with the type of S3X that they're having or that they're able to get and they don't know why, because they're like, oh yeah, like actually I just sent an email out to the guys on my email list just this morning that said, many men are actually getting S3X but still feel empty or unfulfilled, and that's because what they're really searching for is connection.
Yeah.
It's connection that you want. It's intimacy that you want. But intimacy and connection is vulnerability. That means you have to be open, because if you're going to love, it means you might get hurt. And so many people want to avoid pain. They're like, no, I don't want to get hurt, so I'm just going to keep myself locked away. But remember, if you build a wall to keep something out, that same wall keeps the good things out as well. You build a wall to keep the negative out. That same wall is also keeping the positive out. And so in actuality, if you want to experience the highest forms of pleasure, you have to accept the highest forms of pain. If you want to accept the highest forms of love that's available to you, then you have to go and risk that the highest forms of pain. And we're all going to experience that, because let's say in a loving relationship, let's say a worldly man woman loving relationship, at some point one of you is going to pass away, generally one before the other, right? And you could see what a broken heart does. There's how many older couples especially that have been together for a long time, one of the couple passes, and sometimes within months, weeks, the other one passes.
Because my grandparents.
Oh, did it? Yeah, because what am I living for? And we are all living for love. You think you might be living for fame or for money or revolution or whatever, all these other things you think you're living for, but actually biologically, and spiritually and emotionally, you're living for love. And once you have that, like I noticed, the more loving I feel, Johnny and June Cash. Oh yeah, interesting. The same thing. So the more love you have in your heart, the less you need anything else. Like you're like these vices, pornography, weed, alcohol, all of these things are actually trying to fill this void that we feel in our hearts. But when our heart is full and filled, we're fulfilled with love, then these things are not even attractive anymore. They're just not even attractive. There's no taste for them, because you're like, no, man, you want to get high on what I'm high on, which is life and love itself.
And let's be honest, it's painful anyway when you've got these heart walls and you can't connect with people. So you might as well risk the other pain and get some love, because it's painful anyway.
That's a good point.
Being like this.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like, that oftentimes when we're trying to avoid pain, we're just creating another type of pain, because we're actually disconnecting ourselves from real pleasures of life and the beauty.
As you say,
you
negate the pain, but you also negate the love as you do that. So you're just left with pain. So yeah, you might as well risk more pain, but you might get love, or you will. You'll feel love. If you feel love in yourself, then you've got love. It's not like it has to be dependent on someone else or some external thing. The feeling you feel is love. That's within you. So you can feel love if you just are brave enough to break down those walls and be vulnerable.
Yeah, man. So there you go. You guys got 3 techniques. You got the heart sound, you got inner smiling, you got some tapping, which is cool. I just learned that one. And Azrael asked for a workshop a few weeks ago. I just want to let you know I did write it down, and it is something we will do. The schedule is a bit packed right now and such, but we will be doing some more workshops and different things as time goes on. So make sure you're plugged in, you stay tuned, you're subscribed, all that kind of good stuff. You're following on whatever socials. And, if you're not, again, we're really trying to get the YouTube channel to the next level. So if you can go and subscribe to the channel and leave comments and, anything you can do, activity on the channel, all helps boost it. It's getting a lot of good momentum, and we really want to see it go to the next level. The last thing I want to share with you guys, and we won't get deep into it, but ultimately it's the power of forgiveness. It's so funny, like forgiveness is a must. Forgiveness is not forgetting. Forgiveness is not justifying whatever happened. Some people are like, I can never forgive. I can never forgive, but in actuality, forgiveness is a must. Because without forgiveness, it's like, I think the Buddha says, it's like anger and hatred. It's like hanging on to a burning coal. Your intention is to throw it at somebody, but you're hanging on to it, so you're the one getting burned. That's what happens when you don't forgive. And often it's like this prideful feeling, like, I can't forgive. I'm so full of pride. Pride is one of the 7 deadly sins. And, there's many reasons we don't want to forgive, but often it comes down to some kind of egoistic, deal, right? And we have to see, we can say, like, let's be spiritually selfish. Okay. So let's be spiritually selfish. Let's give ourselves permission to forgive, so that we can drop the coal and the anger and the heart walls. And so I've got a 5-step process called the forgiveness opportunity that I generally share with my coaching clients or our students inside the Army and our Alchemy programs. But I want to open that up. If you would like to receive that, it's a PDF, and it'll give you 5 questions and a process in which you can go through to forgive yourself, to forgive others. It's a wonderful process. I've used it myself many times, and I've used it with others. It really works. There is, in the description of the video, there's the nakuladas.com/contact. So you can contact me directly. Send me a message and just say, hey, I was watching this video and I would like to go through the forgiveness opportunity, and I'll send you that PDF. So that way you can have it and use it. It's a wonderful process that really gets down to the essence of moving forward in your life. So if you are, let's say you're a man, maybe you've had a few relationships and you want to love again, forgiveness is generally going to be part of it. It doesn't matter. You're a man. I work with men, but if you're a woman and you want it, just reach out. It doesn't matter. It's for everybody. Just reach out. Without forgiveness and the spirit of forgiveness and the ability to forgive, and life will always present you opportunities to forgive. Like, there's no short of life giving you these opportunities. The better you become at forgiveness, and I'm going to present it like a skill, the better you become at forgiveness, the easier and better your life will be. The more you'll become fluid in this life, light, literally like light, and just pass through. And while everyone else is angry and everyone else is hurt, you're just going to become a beacon of light and love and connection, that so many good things are going to come to you. There'll be so many positive things attracted into your life simply because you've developed the ability and strength, because it takes strength to forgive. So reach out to me and connect, and I would love to share that opportunity with you. Jake, you got any final words before we sign off for today?
Just on forgiveness, you got before you go into a new relationship or new thing, it's important to let go and forgive these things before. I was also holding on to some things from past relationships, and I was trying to be with new people, and because I hadn't forgiven or let go, they were coming up, and it follows you around. So yeah, forgiveness doesn't help. It's unhealthy to hold on to. So try and forgive.
Try and forgive. Hey, thanks so much, Israel. I appreciate that. She's actually speaking about becoming a member of the political party, the PPC. And it's so funny, the party just sent an email, and it didn't resonate with me at all. I generally resonate with their message and everything, and from a political perspective. But again, I've moved away from that because it's really not going to fix anything. At the end of the day, it's a change of heart we need. It's a change of consciousness that we need, as opposed to political policies are just reflective of the collective consciousness of that nation, right? So until the consciousness of the nation shifts, the political policies won't shift. And I just appreciate, Israel, that you saw that, and you became a member because you were inspired by the messages I was giving. And yes, we will create something new, and that's what we're doing here. That's why I've moved away from that. I've put all my focus into this work, because this work is going to shift the consciousness of people. And I feel personally that I can reach way more people now, not being trapped in that system or that paradigm. I think it served a purpose for me personally, and I hope it helped many people, but I don't see it as the ultimate solution anymore. And anyways, they sent out a message saying, we will not forgive and not forget. And I agree with half of it, which is, I agree, we shouldn't forget. We should see how our own government has sometimes exploited us, and we shouldn't forget those things so that we are wise. We shouldn't be naive about the world. Being loving doesn't mean we don't recognize there is hate in the world, and there is evil in this world, and there's no. So I don't think we should forget, but I 100% disagree that we shouldn't forgive. Absolutely, we should forgive. If Canada, and it's not just Canada, this is a global thing that's happening. So if the world really wants to see peace and to see harmony and to see prosperity in this world, then forgiveness is a must. So I absolutely disagreed with Maxim and his stance on that, and I was actually quite disappointed. It actually solidified my decision more to move away. It was kind of like, no, I made the right decision, because I'll never stand behind a message that says don't forgive. So anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for your time. Appreciate you. Share this video out, share this message out, and let's bring a positive, loving message to the world. It's so much bigger than you just getting laid. It's about restoring our world to balance, to harmony, and recognizing higher spiritual truths, which is what the human life is all about. So thank you guys so much. Have an awesome week. Peace.
Soldiers retained. Real strong men are self-controlled. Their info is plain. If you don't know, feel that energy flow right into